Hi, and welcome to my Flosstube. This time it's Flosstube number 4. My name is Esther, and I'm from Denmark. And first of all, I would like to thank you for your likes, your comments, and not least your subscriptions. They have doubled since my last Flosstube 2 weeks ago. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I would also like to thank you, the Smoky Mountain Stitches, for giving me a shout out. Thank you very much. Today it's going to be a long video, I'm afraid. Last time I began showing you some Danish designs, and I'm going to show you even more today. I am going to look through some of my aunt's old cross-stitch books. I have made that as a video I will insert, and I will give you a timestamp. It will say on the video where you can skip to if you don't want to see it, because that video takes 17 minutes. Sorry. Yeah. So first of all, I would like to start by showing you some of my older stuff. And after that, I will talk about Danish designs. And then I will put in the video. After the video, we will move on to my whips and haul. Would you think that I got more haul to show you? I mean, after last time? One shouldn't think that I have bought more. I did. I'm impossible, really. Looking at it right now, it looks as if I have almost just as much as last time. When will I ever learn? Well, that's about it. Yeah, today's program. Okay, so let's start first of all with some of my old FFOs. I hadn't forgotten that I had them, but I haven't seen them for quite some time. I used to make a lot of cards, you know, little cards that didn't take that long to make. Some of these are very old. I didn't put in my initials and years on these ones, but I guess they are from 2007, 8, 9, probably 9 because of the cataract. So that was that one. Most of them are in plastic bags. I think I wanted to sell them, but I never got that far, so I still got them. And I think a lot of them are actually on 8, I count 14. So just move a little fast through these. This one is actually from an English magazine. Not easy to get a nice, decent picture of it with the plastic. But I hope you can live with it. And let's move on here. This is a pattern from Permin, the Danish designers. I think that's from an English magazine, but where I just switched out down here. So it says Jul, which means Christmas in Danish. Yeah, it is from English magazines because this one says Santa. And this was one of my first times using metallics. Not a total success. I think I should try to use these. instead of just having them in a box. So maybe I should use them for Christmas cards next year. That might be a good idea. At least my Christmas cards will then become very personal. The only problem with that is that actually I don't write that many Christmas cards anymore. Yeah, I do, but by email, because it's so expensive to mail them here in Denmark. So, as you can see, I have been pretty busy back then. But we are almost done now with these cards. I thought. There was another handful. But these are with smaller motifs. And this is the last one. And then I found this one. It's not a card. I'll take it out of the plastic bag. It's completely made in beads. Everything's are beads. And I did buy a lot of beads because I wanted to do more of this. And I still got all those beads. So maybe I can make a combination now of beads as well as cross stitch. Then in this box of forgotten cases, I found 2 more geometric patterns or things that are FOs that I did also in 2009. Again, you can see it's this pattern I like a lot. And I made 2 of them. And actually, I do have the pillows, but I just never got to the time where I actually turned them into some pillows. So, yeah, one day. I also found this old FFO, which is upside down, which my aunt made. I don't like it that much, but I will probably make it into a pillow anyway, because my late aunt made it. And that will be a nice memory of her. And then I have one more Christmas pillow. And then I found this one. She also made that, as you can see, because I think that's on a linen. And I do not stitch on linen. And I think that would make a nice little pillow as well. So, okay, that was some of these old stuff. Now a bit more about Danish designs. As I showed on my Instagram, I recently found an old box, not an old box, I found a box where I put all my late aunt's, or most of them, of her cross-stitch books. And these are some of them, but I cannot show you how they look inside because there are no photos inside. There are only patterns. And actually a lot of the patterns is a bit like sampler-like patterns. But we have Bornholm, that's this island between Denmark and Sweden. And this church is very typical for this island. Then we have Greenland. So typical patterns from Greenland. Amager, that's the island that has grown together with Copenhagen, where all the Dutch immigrant used to live. Amager used to be this, they called it, no, I'm not going to say that word on Flosstube, but they did empty the latrines, the old toilets from Copenhagen. They did empty all those buckets onto Amager, this island. That means the soil was very fertile. And when all these immigrants from Holland came and settled, they actually made most of the food that was used in Copenhagen back then. We are talking about 1500 and something. Okay, moving on. Sjælland. This is Zealand. This is where I live. Typical patterns from there. And this is one of the books where there are quite a lot of sampler-like patterns. I will talk a little more about Danish samplers later today. Then we have Zoo in cross-stitch. Yugoslavia in cross-stitch. Yugoslavia has ceased to exist many years ago, but this is also a very old book, so. And then we have Christmas in cross-stitch. And the last one, Hans Christian Andersen's Fairy Tales in cross-stitch. My aunt really loved Hans Christian Andersen, and she had a lot of books about him. So, moving on to some of these more modern patterns. Well, some of them aren't that new yet. This is from my favorite Danish weekly. It's called Hendes Verden, which means her world. And they used to be that weekly that brought the most cross-stitch patterns. And you could be sure that every year around September, October, they would make this huge pattern with Christmas. So after I got into cross-stitching again, I was really looking forward here in September. Yeah, now it's soon this week, number 37 or number 38. Nothing. It seems to me like they stopped doing that. So I'm very pleased that I still got a lot of their old ones. But of course they do other stuff than Christmas. They had a series of birds. Here you have one of them. I don't have the whole series. I just have some of them. And this is a black-tit. Do you call it that in English? I should have looked that up, but I had so many preparations, so I probably forgot a thing or two. And this must be the blue tit, because I remember that name from last time. From my first or second Flosstube where I showed you this blue tit that I had stitched. And then we have something for the kids. A little dog. Actually, it's a puppy and two different cats. There's also a yellow cat up there. And a modern kind of that glare. The modern kind of sampler for a newborn. And this one, again, table runner, table runner, table runner. The Danes love table runners, it seems. This is for birthdays. And then they have mother and fathers, or the sons, and then in the other end it's the father and the daughter's name, as well as dates. And, you know, this is actually a bit funny, because now I started reading a bit about the Danish samplers. And the colors of Danish samplers used to be mainly red and blue. And these characters, persons in this tablecloth, do have some remnants with how you made people on the old samplers in Denmark. So I think they made it in that sampler-like style. Then we have a little kitty cat. And then some Easter. Again, table runner. Some lambs and a sheep. And on the other side, a table runner again. And then we have different kind of Easter stuff. This is a tablecloth. And again, a table runner, a card with crocus, and another table runner. You see, Danes are really crazy about table runners. This is the one that I showed you last time. The one I made on the yellow Ada. So this is the pattern. Oh, the pattern is on the other side. And then I found this, and it's really an Easter sampler, a Danish Easter sampler, modern sampler, but still, it's a sampler. I'm going to take it out. So, I have used these little chicken. I have stitched several times. I found them so cute. I also did the hare once or twice, the rabbit once or twice. And I think I did the tulips as well. So this is really a typical Easter sampler, I would say. Last time when I was going through some of these designs, I wanted to show you something, and all of a sudden I couldn't find it. I found it for today. It's this one. This is a Danish sampler. And this one is from 1977. But the sampler is actually from 1864. So this is the pattern for a genuine Danish sampler from 1864. And 1864 was also the year that Denmark lost 1/3 of our country to the Germans. So maybe that's why it was made, I don't know. But this is a typical Danish pattern. I said before that usually you just used red and blue. That's also true, but that was on the first ones. Later on, when the dyeing techniques became better, of course the Danes also used more colors in their samplers. But I'm going to talk more about Danish samplers in a future Flosstube. I have started the preparations and got some books from the Danish library, not the Danish, from the local library. So then I found this motif. It's from the Danish city of, I think it was Bogense. Yeah, it's Bogense. Bogense is a market town on Fyn. You know, the island in the middle of Denmark. So this is a typical view on a Danish market town. And this one is funny if you're into royalty. These are, you can see it's pretty thick because there are a lot of pages. I'm not going to take them out. These are all the Danish kings and queens that we have had in Denmark, and it goes down till here. The last one on it is the father of our present queen. So she is not there because this one is from the 60s something. It's definitely before 72 because she became a queen in 1972. Last time I showed you this one that my aunt had made. And while I was browsing through my designs and patterns, and this is going to be a very quick view, I found the pattern. It's, I'm going to see like this. So I hope you can't see anything there. It's actually a pattern by Clara Weber. who was a very famous Dane in the cross-stitch world. I think I'm going to tell you a bit more about her in my videos, so I'm not going to tell you too much now. And then I found this one is from, I don't know, but it's the 60s. Motifs from Denmark. So you have different kind of motifs from my country. Some of our castles, churches, yeah. And the last one, before we're going to the other video, is also a map of Denmark. This is a different kind of map. It looks like this. See, with a lot of motifs from Denmark. I have given it a lot of thoughts, and I don't think I will ever make this one. And I have the full pattern here. So I'm thinking about, what would you say? Would you be interested if I someday would make a giveaway where this was something you could win? Would you be interested or not? Please leave a message in the comments. Okay, and now it's time to insert the video. And that's a video where I talk about some of my aunt's books, where I could actually show you some of the stuff inside the books because there were pictures. So, and if you don't want to see them, I will put a timestamp up here so you can skip that part, and then I'll see you after that with my whips and haul. Have fun. Okay, so I'm now going to take you through a brief tour of some of my aunt's books, and I'm going to show you the cover of the book as well as some of the pictures from the book. A lot of these books don't have any photos in them, or if of the finished products, usually they only have the patterns in it, and I cannot show you that. Maybe they have one or two photos which I can show you, and most of especially the first books, the oldest books, the photos are black and white, but I hope you can live with that. I'm not going to tell you what's on the photos because you can probably see it, and if not, then feel free to ask me in the comments. Okay, let's start. So the first book is this one. It's called Sting og Mønstre. It means stitches and patterns for school and for home. This book is from 1949, and that's the oldest book that I got. The next one is from Haandarbejdets Fremme. It's called Korssting number 2, cross-stitch embroidery. And this is also one of these books where you hardly have any pictures in it, so I can only show you two. And one of them is, as you can see, the front cover. Actually, I think I might do this one eventually, because it's what I think it's called assisi, because you do not stitch the motif, you stitch everything around the motif. And I find that very interesting. And if you can hear some noise in the background, it's my dishwasher, or our dishwasher. Okay. And that book was from 1955, 1956. The next book is Cross-Stitch Patterns for Christmas. It's from 1955. And actually I think it's the first one. She had two, so she gave me one back then, a long time ago. And again, not many photos from that one either. And then something completely different. This is a book from 1957. It's about Tivoli. And I will show you here the photos of some of the stuff in this book. But again, most of the book consists of patterns, and you know how it is. I can't show you. Then I got two. They're not thick. I think they have about 14 pages or so. But actually I have two books by Clara Weber. And Clara Weber, she is very famous in the Danish embroidery history. And if you're interested, please, to know more about her, please let me know in a comment, because then I could try to prepare a little presentation about Clara Weber. So do let me know if you would like to hear more about her. And she made a lot of flowers, and there's also some motives of Hans Christian Andersen in these two books. Some of his, not of Hans Christian Andersen, but some of his fairy tales. But most of it are flowers. Okay, then I have this scrapbook of my aunt's, where she has collected a lot of patterns from Danish magazines, weekly magazines, and they're all from the 60s. You can see there are some small motives, so you can actually make your own kind of modern, or more or less, back then it was modern, samplers. And there's also a little wall hanging with a little bell. And I might do that. I think the houses are very cute, but I would probably pick one or two of the houses and stitch and make into one or two little pillows instead of a wall hanger. And then there's this Christmas sampler, I would call it. And I have a picture of it here because my aunt actually stitched it. And as you can see, I have turned it into a pillow because it was pretty messed up around the edges. So I decided to turn it into a pillow. And now at least I have a full basket every year around Christmas. From last Christmas and on, I have a basket which I filled with pillows in different kind of sizes. And so now a lot of my aunt's embroideries are turned into pillows, little pillows. And now I get to see them about 6 weeks a year. Before that, I just had them in a box and didn't see them. So this is way better. Okay, there's also a Christmas sampler from 1965. It's not that interesting, I think. But then there's the one from 1966. And I do consider stitching that one. Not that I find it particularly beautiful, but 1966 was the year I was born. So, if not for anything else, then for that reason, I might stitch it. And in this scrapbook, there's also another table runner. As I told you before, the Danes need to have table runners for everything, for every season, for every holiday, for everything, and especially Christmas we need more than once. But well, this one is a spring table runner, and I think I told you in my first Flosstube that crocus is my absolute favorite flower, and since there are crocuses here, I might at least stitch the crocus someday. Okay, moving on. My aunt was very fascinated by Hans Christian Andersen, you know, the famous Danish fairy tale teller, writer, author. And she had a lot of books about him, and of course she also had books with some of his fairy tales in cross stitches, and this next one is such one. And again, not many photos from that one. Actually, I can only show you one picture from that one. Moving on, or maybe I should say that the book about Hans Christian Andersen is from 1961. The next book, called Børnenes Broderibog, the embroidery book of kids, or for kids, it's from 1962. And I really like these tulips, and actually I think about doing them in variegated floss. I think that would look very nice, and maybe I would just do 5 of them or so. And then if you look at this little needle book, my aunt did that for me, and I will show you a picture of it here. And here we again have an embroidery that my aunt stitched and that I got, and which I also turned into a pillow for Christmas. Yeah. And speaking of Christmas, the next book is again from Haandarbejdets Fremme. It's from 1971, and as you can see now, the photos are all in colors, finally. And I like these small samplers you can see on the second picture with the blue border. I like these kind of borders, and it seems to me that you can find these borders in very often in Danish patterns. Okay, the next one, it's not that old, it's from the 70s, but I think it has been used a lot. So it's falling apart. So I have to be a bit careful when looking in it. There's no doubt about it that it's from the 70s. You can look at the colors used and some of the patterns. There are we have some very famous Danish artists, or yeah, I think you call them artists. We have, for example, Vinblad, where you can see one of his paintings has been turned into a cross-stitch pattern. Bjørn Vinblad is his name. He's also very famous for ceramics and paintings, everything. He did a lot of different things. And then we also have Henri Europe. He is very famous for his kind of, what do you call it? Naive paintings, of which one has been turned into a cross-stitch pattern, as you can see here. Nowadays, it's very popular to stitch bees. I have seen a lot of Flosstubers showing that they are stitching something called Bee Well or stuff like that. Anyway, with bees on it. So, and I have been thinking about, hey, maybe I would like to stitch a bee. And then look what I just found. There are a lot of bees here. So I will definitely stitch one of these bees. Maybe not tomorrow, but maybe sometimes here in 2021. And then, as you can see, even small pillows were a hit back then in the 70s. And lastly, here's Esther. I'm never going to make that pattern, but I had to show you because she carries my name, Esther. So it's, by the way, it's Esther from the Bible. Okay, moving on to another Christmas book from Haandarbejdets Fremme. And yeah, I'm just going to let you see these photos from the book, and then we'll move on to the next one. And the next book, this book was from 1976, sorry. The next book is also from Haandarbejdets Fremme, and it's from 1977. And there are this is actually quite interesting, because the first picture I show you here, it has some Danish words. They are the first words of the Danish version of Silent Night. And I think you could say that all the pictures here, all the patterns here, has something to do with Silent Night. And then there's one that I really like. I don't know what you should call it, if you should call it a sampler or what, because I would call it Christmas scenes, where you can see all through the month of December here in Denmark how it could look. So I might stitch that, or some of the motifs from it. And then these last 4 ones, I really like the 2 with the buildings on them. The blue one is actually the town hall of Copenhagen, and the other one is a typical market town, Danish market town. And you see again, they have these borders that I like a lot. Okay, and now we have come to the last book. That's from 1982. That's a Embroidery Handbook, and it has some samplers, more modern samplers, and then not that modern anyway, because it's still got a lot of typical symbols for a sampler. The birds, the dogs, and you have baskets, and you have some trees and all these little symbols and some letters in it. So there's quite a lot of normal sampler motifs. And then we have this Christmas evening, and a more modern example of a sampler. I mean, the top is typical sampler, and maybe the bottom as well, but the middle with this house, that's completely modern. I mean, it's from the 70s, but still. Yeah. And that were those books where I could show you some of the finished patterns in. Please do let me know if you would also like me to tell you more about the history of samplers in Denmark. It's not that I'm that interested in stitching samplers myself, but I'm very into the Danish history, and therefore I wouldn't mind preparing something to tell you about the history of samplers in Denmark, because I like the history of it. I find that very interesting. So do let me know in a comment if you would like me to find out more about how it was with the samplers in Denmark. Okay, and back to the other video. Hi, and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video, if you watched it, that is. And now it's time for whips, and I actually have an FO, but it's not an FO that you have seen unless you follow me on Instagram, because I made it the other day. It was a new start the other day, and I finished it the same day. I think it took about 4 or 5 hours to stitch it. At Casa Sienna, some weeks ago, a month ago, I bought this pattern saying La felicità è nella cose che ami. The happiness lies in the things we love, you love. Ami, that's you love. I have stitched it. I didn't want to put on the butterflies. I bought the pattern just because of the text. And here it is. La felicità è nella cose che ami. It's on 16 count Ada, hand dyed by me. Actually, it was going to be the first time I tried to hand dye something red. It turned out pink, but it's okay. No problem. I will probably turn it into a little pillow. As I said in my last Flosstube, I'm going to make quite a lot of FOs, and then when I have a pile of it, I will use a whole day, and then I will turn them into FFOs. I finished the projects, but I think it turned out pretty well. It's with GMC 746, and I think it looks really nice on this fabric. So I'm very pleased with it. Okay, and then I take part in the Whip Go, and it was number 4 and number 20 that was called for in February. And my goal for, let me see, number 20, which is this one called Snowway, was 20 hours of stitching in February, in the month called, and that is February. So 20 hours. And last weekend we also had a Whip Go weekend. And I made a goal there saying that on both numbers, this is number 20, and on this one, the night before Christmas, number 4, I should stitch at least 5 hours on each. And I accomplished both goals. So first, and then I continued stitching and stitching and stitching. So I actually, yesterday, I did the last 30 minutes, and now I have been stitching 20 hours on this one in February. So I achieved one of the goals. And the other one, I just have to stitch 25 hours on that one in the whole year. So, and I'm pretty pleased with how this looks. I think it's going to be really beautiful. The other one, night before Christmas, it was a new start, and it's not anymore, because I actually stitched about 7 hours on it, and I still miss the reindeers up here, but I have walked a bit down here. I prefer to stitch the houses right now. Okay, I think you remember my love last time for the oxide satin floss, which I purchased by Mrs. Sedas, or Sedas. I don't know how you pronounce it. I do not know Spanish. I didn't want to make new starts because, as I showed you before, I have a lot of things kitted up already, and I don't need to kit up more. Well, guess what? Of course, I had to kit up another one and start, because I needed to use this oxide. And it's from this book, which I showed you last time. This pillow here, I find it very, very beautiful. And it's called Star Pillow, if you translate the title into English. And this is how it looks in oxide. Look, it's marvelous, isn't it? I really love this silk. It's so beautiful. I don't know how long or how big it's going to be, but you see the fabric, whoops, the fabric is pretty long. So I think I'm going to turn it into quite a pillow. Or maybe I'll just make it into a little pillow like the geometric one I showed you last time. I haven't decided yet. But I think I'm going to go for a bigger one with this one, because I really love this floss. Then we have these spring pins and pretty things. I have done very little on this one. Actually, it is really very little. I think I did 2 or 3 lemons out here, and that's it. And of course, temperature tree, and that's on a light blue 14 count Ada. And as you can see, all the silver stars are the days we had snow. The snow is gone now, but we had it for 14 days, which was nice. I would have liked it to stay a little longer, but yes. Then we have geometric 10 fans. This one. And as I said before, in my other floss tubes, all these patterns, all my whips, I will put it down in the description box so you can find them there and more information about them. I didn't do much, as you can see. I did this one up, but as I used to, I will put up a photo on how it looked the last time you saw it. And because of this whip go and the whip go weekend as well, I haven't been stitching much on Rose Street. Actually, I only put in 278 stitches, which is, when it's me, it's not a lot. But that's because I have been working on the other stuff. So this is how far I got. But hey, 278 stitches is better than nothing, right? So, and the same goes for Victoria Street, and both of them are on black 16 count Ada, and this one is the DMC 4060 Weeping Willow, and the other one is called Crystal Waters. And they are both from Galliana Cross Stitch. And as you can see, this one I only managed 138 stitches, which is really poor. Okay, my hate. What is it about hates? I mean, I haven't been stitching on it for almost a week because I had a lot of other stuff I had to stitch. And then I picked it up again last night. And what happened? Did I go to bed on the right time? No. Way past my bedtime. But hey, you know what? Today is Friday. I got a whole week off next week. Winter holiday. Yay. So I thought, well, I sat up stitching until 1 o'clock and didn't fall asleep until 1:30. And then up again at 7. So I was a bit sleepy, but I have holiday now for 1 week. But back to the hate. It's a mini. It's called Quarantine Cats, and this picture is not that very good, so I have put in a better one, you can see. This one I put in a bit more, 1,707 stitches. Ta-da! Now you can actually see it's a cat down here. And I have slowly begun on the bird that flies around here. And I have told myself that I'm not allowed to move any further this direction now. I have to fill in here and then start moving here. Or maybe I will move sideways so I can get to the other cat that's over here. I might do that. And then sometimes when I'm tired, I usually do stuff like this where you have not where there's still confetti, but not as much. There are blocks of colors. Okay, that was whips. Then I have kitted up new stuff. Not that I needed to. I still have the whole basket full of stuff, but well, I just kitted it up. One of them, actually 3 of them, are samplers. This is the spring sampler. They are all from the Korssting magazine. These are very modern samplers, but still samplers. I have already kitted up the winter one, but this is, as I said, the spring, and I'm going to show you the fabric in a moment. And then we have the summer sampler. And let me see, where is autumn, or fall as you call it in America, I think. And this is the autumn. So these 3, the first one, the one with spring, I'm going to do that on 16 count Ada called Café au lait. It's from Sew It All, and I think it will look nice on it. I think we'll see about that. Then we have the summer. I'm going to do that on 16 count Ada, a light blue Ada. Yeah. And then the fall into autumn, as it's called. It's also 16 count Ada, and it's on fabric called Rainy Day, because in Denmark it very often rains in the autumn, and I thought that would be quite appropriate. So, and this one is also from Sew It All. Then you should think that I had kitted up enough stuff, because you do know I have this full basket. But no. I also kitted up one of the patterns I bought recently. Regatta, the witch's house, from Olaf and Stitch. I am going to do that on 18 count Ada Rustica Oatmeal, the same one I did the House of Christmas on. And there are only 4 colors used for this one, and I think it looks pretty nice. Yes, that was it. I also kitted up the other one from Olaf and Stitch, Poison Jack. See, this time I remembered to bring up the picture. So Poison Jack I'm going to make on, let me see, 14 count Ada, hand dyed by me. There is a bit marbling in it, but yeah, you can see it there, but not much. A little bit. And I'm going to stitch it with Weeks Dye Works, the one called Trick or Treat, because I think it looks really nice on this fabric. And the last thing I kitted up was, it's a little Halloween cat. I have to do it like this because otherwise you can see the pattern. It's called Black Cats, and I'm going to do it on this one. Here I actually succeeded in the marbling, because this is hand dyed by me also. Let me see if I can find out. I think it's 16 count Ada, and as I said, hand dyed by me, and I think I succeeded pretty good. I really like this one. But this one, this black cat, is not the only one that's going onto this fat piece of fabric, because this one, Blissfully Unaware, is going on it as well. I'm trying to get hold of the call for colors, but it's Gentle's Arts and Weekdays work, and I could only get 4 of the call for weekday work. So I said, I'll wait with that. It isn't Halloween the next couple of months, so probably I will get the floss before. Okay. I said that I would talk a little bit more about the samplers before we go to haul. I also found this book. It's called Classic Cross Stitches, and it's all about the history of samplers in Denmark. There's a sampler here, you can see. And here, this is typical for the Danish samplers, blue and red as only colors. And again, oops, one here, and there's actually the pattern to it here. And a lot of blue and reds. And we also have, I forgot what that scene is called, but it's Adam and Eve, you can see. And again, the pattern is here. Actually, there are quite a lot of patterns in it. Now I'm going to move a little away, and then, as you can see, quite a lot of patterns, and also alphabets and numbers. So, and this book it's an old book. Oh, old and old. It's from 1971, but it's actually quite easy to find on Danish marketplaces. Most of them cost less than 100 kroner. And sorry for the noise in the background, that's one of my cats. Okay. Haul. I don't know where to start. Oh yeah, I actually do. To talk about oxide again. Last time I missed the last order hadn't come in. Last order. There came several orders in after that. But this little punch machine hadn't arrived. But now, as it obviously has arrived, and you could see, I could make holes into these. And this is how oxide looks now. Isn't it gorgeous? And it's still so soft. And then I put little name tags on here, so I know with the name of the floss. Haha, as if I don't know the name of this floss. Yeah. Will I ever learn? Not constantly buying new stuff. I'm afraid I'm a lost cause. But at least I only bought one pattern this time. Yay! Only one pattern. Another one from Lindner's Cross Stitch. It's called Springtime. Again, these are all the patterns. And that sound, that was just my elbow. just so you know. And again, ideas on how to finish the stuff on the backside, and obviously the pattern is inside. Okay, because I kit up a lot, and I always want to have at least 2 skeins of each DMC color. Of course, I had to stock up DMC. What else? Then I have some cats running around tonight. I bought some trims, I think you call it. This one. And obviously that's for when I'm going to make Christmas pillows. And this one, it's leather. It looks a bit different from the picture, so I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to find some use for it. And I bought that in black as well. And I don't remember who showed it, these trims, but I think I've seen it on several Flosstubes, and I thought, hey, that's a fun idea for making Christmas pillows. So of course I needed some of that too. Then it's not that I need more fabric. No, I don't need more fabric, but I saw this fabric and hey, it's so cute. I gotta have this one. I haven't got a clue what I'm going to use it for. Yeah, as the back side of FOs, but other than that, I don't know. Maybe we should just stop here. No. I bought 2 sets of buttons galore. Sewing items. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, but actually I'm thinking about turning them into needleminders. At least one of them, and then the other one I might put on as little charms and stuff that I finish, maybe. If you have any ideas, then please leave the ideas in the comments. I would really appreciate that. Floss. Yeah, I already showed you the DMC. But XG Design from Hungary. I talked about her before because she was the first one from whom I bought my first silks from her last summer, and now I had ordered some more. I had ordered this called Redwood because I found it gorgeous, and there was a little present for me, and I really like this color as well, and it doesn't say the color of this one. And then she had something for Halloween, so a little set of 3 different colors. I think she called it Trick or Treat. So there's this color. As you can see, I bought 2 sets of these, and then there are these 2 colors. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, but I say that quite a lot, don't I? I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but eventually I will find something to use it for. So, and it's nice as well. And actually there was some trims with it as well, as you can see, like this. And then she had some floss called Peacock Foxy. I had to have that one as well. I love these colors. And I keep saying to myself, hey, the reason why you buy that much is because it's COVID and stuff, and you have to support the small vendors. Of course, that's the reason why I purchase that much. Not because that I'm addicted to shopping. No, I'm not. Well, Mrs. Sidas, I talked about her last time because I showed you the oxide. And this is the third time I mentioned the name of that floss. I think you know the name now. Actually, last time I told you about an order I had done just the day before I recorded my Flosstube. And yesterday it arrived. It only took 2 weeks. First of all, I got a little Needleminder as a gift. Thank you. In my second Flosstube, I showed you my Needleminders because that was one of the things I started collecting when I got back into the cross stitch world. Is that the only thing I started collecting? Not I'm going to show them to you today, but scissors. I used to be perfectly fine with a little Fisker scissor, and that was it. Not anymore. She had this one with a little owl on it. I need that one. You know, I only buy when I need stuff, right? So, I needed this one. In one of my future Flosstubes, I might show you my scissors. It's not that many. No. I only have about 6 or 7, so it's not that many scissors. Okay. You know, this one is called Pride. Look at those colors. They are marvelous. I'm getting tired of saying I don't know what I'm going to use it for, so I will stop. I will try to stop saying that because it's no use. But they are really, really beautiful. And then this one is Toxic. I'm thinking something with autumn. Maybe Halloween, I'm not sure, but autumn, definitely. And this one, it's called Mint and Chocolate. It's gorgeous. These two colors together, it's so beautiful. And these one were surprises because I didn't know I would get them. This one is called Popcorn. Also very nice colors. And of course they're all very soft to touch. And this one is called Hydrangea. So that's it. So we will stop now and no. Guess what? Last time I forgot the word Hank, but this time I remember it. I bought 2 Hanks because I fell in love twice while on her side. The first one is called Sienna. Look. Isn't it gorgeous? Well, I think it is. It's fantastic. And of course, I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So next time it will look like, maybe not. Yeah, I have a week of holiday, so I will probably make them look like this one. so it's a bit easier to use when sewing. But it's so beautiful. And this one. And this one also tastes good if you drink it. Not that you drink the floss, but it has the same name as a drink that I like. It's called Mojito. I'm running out of adjectives here to describe it, so I think I'll just show it to you and you can pick your own adjectives. I know a lot of people are not that much into yellow. I don't mind yellow at all. So that was it. I'm done with my haul. Yeah. And of course, I'm not going to have this much haul every time. You just caught me on the wrong time. I do have some orders coming in, but they're not that big. It's just something from Amazon. And speaking about Amazon, it's from the German Amazon, because UK Amazon, not after Brexit, unfortunately. And I did order just a little bit, the things I needed. So I think that's it for today. If you have any questions, please do ask me in the comments. I will answer almost every question. Please hit the like button, and you are more than welcome to subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram as well. And I will, in the description box, I will also put my email in case you want to send me a mail instead of leaving a comment. So that was it for now. I hope you enjoyed my Flosstube number 4. And yeah, see you. Bye bye.